one of the ideas before the open, you can just sort of stop it, I'll set the scenes. One of the ideas before the open was to trade this INSEE because of the fact that just before the open and the pre-market, Jeff Sessions, there was a leak that Jeff Sessions was going to reverse the former policy on being less lenient on marijuana from the federal level. So what's our initial, and what's happened over the last 4 or 5 days in marijuana stocks in general?
Got pumped.
They got pumped up. So they've run up a bunch. And so this is bad news. So the thesis is, hey, marijuana stocks are going to sell off. As we say a lot, we want to take our thesis and then overlay a way to trade it. We're all going to have individual patterns and individual ways to get into stocks. And so one of the ways that I like to get into something like this is to look for a fight on the tape and then trade off of that. That is not the only way to trade. It's not the only way that I do trade. In this, that's the way that I wanted to trade it on the open. And so I'll show you a quick example of that. But there are other ways. You can look for chart patterns that clearly change. You can look for stocks that come into longer term support and resistance levels. But you need to overlay a strategy, a setup, and then it needs to be your setup. It needs to be something that makes sense to you. And so it's really interesting. We've been going over goals in 2018 for a lot of the guys, and most of them have been really good. Feedback from us to a lot of the guys has been, let's be very specific about the setups you want to take. A lot of guys will say, I want to trade bigger. And a lot of our feedback is, I don't know what that means. And so, and a lot of people are out there and they're saying, I want to trade bigger. Well, the first step is, well, what do you actually trade well? What are the setups? What are their names? What are their variables? Specifically, have you playbooked them? Have you captured examples of them? You've got to do that. You guys are all in the stage, most of you are all in the stage of your career where you're building your playbook. What trade you want to trade with the variables? You're archiving them. And so, and then you measure them. All right, I like these trades, I measure them, I trade them well, these are my A+ trades, and then you develop a plan to trade them bigger. I trade an A+ trade with $100 worth of risk. Next month, I want to trade it with $150 worth of risk. By the end of the year, I want to trade it with $5,000 worth of risk. And so that's an example of goaling, how to trade bigger. You've got a setup. It has variables, you've playbooked it, you've measured it, you have a plan for how to increase risk. So let's just sort of watch the tape here. I think, when we get to the open, let's go to the, okay. So we'll watch this. So I notice in this, I'm trading the CM in the open. I got scalped out right away. And now I'm looking at INSEE. Okay. So let's just stop the tape. So I'm looking at that chart, right? And our thesis is, hey, this should trade lower. Only down 0.5%. Is that right? Down 4%. Down 4%. And I'm just looking for a battle. And I'm going to play, you can see it's sort of the top of the range is up towards that 13 if you look at the chart, but it's still very early in the day. It's a couple minutes into the day, but in the pre-market, they've created a little bit of that range. I'm just sort of looking, where's the volume going to be done? Can I see somebody win or lose? So let's see what happens. So you can see there's some volume at 83. See those prints at 83? So I'm just watching the tape. There's some volume at 90, there's some volume at 80. I just want to sort of see where the volume is being done. Volume at 85, 88, 5,000 shares at about a little bit of volume at 90, a little bit of volume at 90, a couple hundred shares, 90, a couple thousand, stop. That was weird. Some more volume that came in pretty quick. About 88 now, like 87 and a half. There's a little bit of volume going in. We got some volume there at front of the whole number. A little volume at 85. A little volume at 92. A little volume at 85 again. Volume at 93. Okay. More volume. That was pretty. Some more volume came in there. 87, 87. It's fast. Like, so it's not just. I look at the velocity of how stuff comes in. They hit that pretty hard. That was weird. Some volume came in pretty fast there. All right, let's play. Volume at 90. More volume at 90, 82. Okay. So go back a little bit. Go back about 10 seconds. Okay. So there's a range that's going on right here, right? What's the range?
80 and 95.
About 85 cents. About 85 cents to the whole number, right? And so, you know, that's the top of the range right there. Never traded below 80 cents, never held the offer below 85 cents, okay? And so I just want to use that information. Again, my thesis is this thing should just trade a lot lower, but I'm overlaying, in this case, the tape, what's going on with the level 2. And again, it's not the only way we'll make trades. We will make trades with charts, but in this case, right on the open, all we really kind of know is the order flow that comes in right on the open. And we really want to be short, but we got to protect our risk. So we're wrong above 13, right? Above 13, it's not short. But if it gets below 85 cents and 8 cents, it probably should go down, right? Based on what we're seeing. So let's see what happens. $30 and 82. Stop. They haven't hit it before there, and there's an 81 offer and 82 offer. They hadn't done that on the open. I think it's going to go down. So, okay. So I hit it. At the bottom of the range. So I'll cover a little bit because it's the bottom of the range. Just a little bit. Maybe I cover a little bit at 61 cents. Hasn't gotten below 56 cents, 51 cents. Definitely some buying there at 51 cents, right? There's definitely more at C50, how that kind of repeats a little bit. So I step in front and I take a little bit more off. But, you know, trades, the bigger trade idea is still on, but I'm just taking profits. But they're buying. See, they're definitely start to buy at 50. Gets below 50, I think we can have another down move. Is it going up? You would think with the buying at 50, it would go back up to like 70 cents, right? Even if we're strong. Stop, hit it. See, you had a little bit of a chance. Like, go back. So they're buying at 50. Buying at 50. That was like the stop point. You have just an ever so slightly chance. Stop, hit it. And ever so slightly chance to sort of, whatever you took off, you should have put back on. So you're looking for those moments, like, to add into your thesis. So let's do that. So I took a little bit more off there because that's pretty big down move. So selling it. And remember, it's a $13 stock, so you can't do it. So, I mean, you've got to take some off there too. Is that the end of my tape? You can let two. I think you got to take some off here. I mean, it's just so steep. You got to look at the problem.
Are you posting on the bid?
Yeah, it was when something's really weak. You would get out of it. So, anyway, that's an example of, I say this a lot, you gotta have a thesis, you have your thesis, but you gotta overlay a type of trade. And that was the opportunity there. I think that was a pretty good opportunity. I mean, stock went from, 13 stock went from 12.85 down to 12.60, right? 12.60, so it went down quite a bit. And then, you're not done with it, but it's at these prices, you sort of need it to go back up a little bit I would think if it went up to 12.50, I'd get interested again. I mean, it has to kind of go back up. It's too steep to the downside. Like, I wouldn't want to swing it with big size unless it went back up to 12.50. That's the only other price that I can even remember. I mean, so you got to be careful. You got to, at that point, you got to like take some profits, stay in your swing a little bit. But you should be pretty light, and then wait for it to go back up and put on the position again.